Hi there, I'm Budda and you're watching Dr. Guitar, a show for all you guitarists out there. In today's episode, I will be showing you my Mesa Boogie TA30. If you have been following the show, you know the first Mesa Boogie I had was my dual caliber, the DC5. And then I kind of get tired of Mesa Boogie tone until the TA15 showed up. And it was a real game changer. I bought it, and the year after, the Mesa Boogie TA30 came out. And what's the difference between both? Well, the TA30 is 30 watts, the TA15 is 15 watts. That's the main difference. But the TA30 has spring tube reverb and effects loop. So it was a game changer because of the power, of the extra power, so the extra headroom and the extra clean tone with more volume, but the reverb was incredible. So I bought it, and it was my main amp for a long period of time. The architecture is very similar between both TA30 and TA15. So they have one left side, which is a Voxy side, and one right side, which is a more intricate side. So let's start on the right side, the red channel. So as usual, I like to test the amps by turning off the EQ and see what we have. We have tone. So I know this is not a Fender type of amp because without EQ, it doesn't cut all the volume. With Fender amps, usually if you turn off all the EQ, you don't have a tone. So here I have a fixed mid-range, which means this is the maximum mid-range I can get. And now I can play with bass. And with treble. So if I want a more Fendery type of tone, I can get a lot of bass, a lot of treble, and it gets mid-scooped. If I turn on the reverb, we have a very Fendery tone, and this reverb, man. But the gain, this is a very trebly amp, so the gain has a huge importance in that because it fattens it up from noon to a little more, especially with single coil. Let's turn the reverb a lot more. And at max. Very surfy reverb. Let me just talk. You can understand it. This side has 3 different preamps and 3 different power stages. So you can be on 15, which I wasn't. I was on 30, and you can have it on 45 or 40. They call it 40, which is kind of a dynawatt. It's not 40 watts, but it has a special thing where it accumulates energy and lets you feel the amp as a more powered amp. So you have more headroom, more punchy notes. We were on 30. Let's hear the same setting on 15. $30. It's not that much louder. It is a little louder, but it has more headroom and it feels fuller. So the gain on this amp is very important. When you set the gain, it starts to break up a little. And it starts to get less shrill, although it is a very bright amp. This is a great clean amp. For those people that don't like channel switching amps, you can leave it on this and then use pedals and whatever. But this has a lot more to offer. And I would probably turn off the treble a little bit and the bass a little bit so it can get cleaner. Let me turn all the treble off. Just a little bit. So this amp has, you will put the knobs in a place that it is not normal. And it takes a while to get used. And once you insert the reverb, it changes your tone in a good way, as usually tube spring reverbs do. It's a great channel. Now you have 2 more preamps on this same channel that you can use. They are not foot switchable though. So the second preamp, which is over here, they call it a Marshall. It's the H1, high one, but it's kind of a Marshall. To me, it's like you turn on a tube screamer. It has a lot more mid-range and it drives a lot more and it's compressed. but it is a great Mesa Boogie amp, so if you play soft, it will play soft. This right side doesn't react so well to the volume as the left side, but it reacts like a different kind of amp. So you watch me pushing up the bass a little bit in order to get it fatter, but it is very mid-rangey, honky. And this also has a push on the gain knob, so you can even push it a little farther. But it can be gentle. Just a little. So you can have a lot of different tones with the same amp and set it as you want it. So we can set it to play with other gain pedals. So being right at the verge of breakup. Almost clean. But this always has that tube screamer mid-range. That's why probably they call it a Marshall type. If I engage the H, the high one, I2, which they call it a Mesa Boogie, it gets fatter, less mid-rangey, and the mid-range drops. So it's lower mid-range, and it is great. So in the same exact settings, let's hear a high one, high two. High one. High two. I hope you get the difference. I prefer a lot more the high two, and I used it as my solo channel. So when I played this amp, I used it kind of like this. was using the out of phase on my beautiful nags. So this is a very versatile amp and has channel switching, which is great for this kind of amps. The second side of it, we have two Vox style preamps, although to me it's almost the same amp with two gain stages. The normal one is cleaner. And I think it might be broken right now because it is not working, this control, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not working. I have to fix it. But it used to have a normal and a top boost. It's on the top boost, so it's a more distorted channel. But it is a great channel. I used it a lot as my clean channel with the normal one because it's chimey. And the controls are treble, bass, let's cut off, treble and bass. Fixed mid-range again. Usually when you have an amp with just treble and bass, the mid-range is fixed. Usually. Not always, but usually. So here we have the bass. So this has that character, that very sparkly, goody clean, but it is a beast when overdriving. And it is a non-master volume. So volume, bass as a Vox, and then reverb, which Vox doesn't have, and a cut at the end. So the cut, when you turn it on to the right, it cuts the treble after the power section. So but as a Mesa Boogie kind of thing, if you push it, it becomes a master. Okay, I usually use it here, cutting off that trebly treble. Probably a little less. But it is a beast when overdriving, so let's crank it a little. This is my amp for this kind of raunchy rock tones, even with less gain. It sounds killer. And if you push it a little more, you can have a very sweet singing tone. This sparkle clean like a fuzz face. It's one of the great things about this amp. And the thing I really love about the amp is that you can set it either for the left channel to be your clean channel and the right to be your dirty channel, or the opposite way, because both drive. So if you like this drive of the Voxy channel, we can push the cut control and turn it down, and it is a master, so you can play it. You can use it as you wish or full on. And then you can set the Fendery or the red channel to be your clean channel. And you hear it's fatter than the other. It is warmer, it is more Fendery. But it can get really dirty. it's super Fendery, and you have the other two voicings, so the Marshall E and the Mesa Boogie. And you have the ability to turn on and off the reverb and to change channels. So it's, what else can you ask for in an amp? The only complaint I have about these amps is that they are too bright. So I'm using the treble almost off. But that's what it is. My Lone Star is too fat. I'm using the bass almost off. So you just need to know the amp and know where to set it. And that's it. It probably is good, the treble, with an humbucker guitar, a very dark guitar, as my BNG, for example. It has it, but you can cut it and you can tailor it to your tone. Well, that's it. I hope this has been helpful to you. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it with the world, and we'll see each other next week. Bye-bye.